First time on Roadkill, the big block Super Samurai is back! Oh man, back at Hidden Valley Auto Parts, dude.
I thought Arizona was supposed to be hot and dry, and it's freezing.
Ah, the Super Sammy. I missed it. Don't you just want to hug it?
This thing's a beautiful little vehicle.
I know, especially with the 440 big block power. If you go back to that last episode, Steve and I came here to Hidden Valley Auto Parts in Arizona and found this Samurai and put a big block 440 out of a van into it and blasted the thing around.
We built the 440 Samurai!
But it had some issues. The rear end is radically offset, so the drive shaft like runs at a big angle, and it's gonna blow up.
We've got major problems.
We have a fire! Fire! Fire!
It's electrical.
Yeah. And some of it's already been fixed. You notice it's got a new ThermoQuad.
I like that.
And it's got a new radiator and the burned up wiring. Remember we had a fire at that last episode? That's all been fixed.
Yeah.
But unfortunately the rear end's still a disaster. So we came here today to put a centered rear end in it, get a new drive shaft in it, and hit the road.
You might have to do something up front too. If that front end hits the pulley, we're dead in the water.
Oh, there's that too. That doesn't look too bad. I say we just tear straight into the rear end because we have to get the rear end in order to get the drive shaft measured to get a drive shaft, and then while the drive shaft's being made, we can fiddle around with all this other little stuff.
Okay, I follow your logic. Let's get to it.
This rear drive shaft is bad. It's at such a radical angle. The U-joint angle is so extreme. Dulcich had to go in there and actually grind clearance in the yoke so it wouldn't bind on itself. We got the junkyard to give us a new rear end for this thing out of an S10 truck. It's got a 342 gear ratio and a centered pumpkin. So as soon as we get that hung in there and on the ground, we're gonna be able to measure up and get a new drive shaft made, and it's still not gonna be good because it's still only gonna be that long.
That's no good.
No, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Is it spinning the stud?
Yes.
Get out. That's a disaster. Haven't even started working and already roadkill. Ugh. There we go. We're gonna save this end and then have a new end put on over here, but we gotta get the rear end first to measure it up.
Wow, do you see what I see? I don't know if this backing plates will even make it out.
Yeah, we might have to take one spring off.
Yeah.
Drop her down.
Do you think we have to drop both sides?
We may have to. Okay, toy rear end gone.
Say goodbye to that thing.
Yeah. There's our old toy rear end. This is a new one. This came out of a square S10 Chevy truck.
Yeah, that looks pretty heavy duty.
Small 10 bolt. I want to find out if it's going to bolt right up. That's like 37 and a half. Center to center on the spring perch. And this is, dude,
Ooh,
it's gonna bolt right up.
in.
That's pretty amazing.
Do you want to pick it up?
I thought you were gonna carry it over there.
I don't know, it looks kind of heavy.
Wow, he went for that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't think he was actually gonna fall for it.
I don't want to get the job done since it bolts right in.
Slow it right in there.
This is going to be the easiest rear end swap ever.
Mine's gonna line up. How about yours?
Oh, mine's going to line up pretty.
Everything's just going so well. If these spring perches actually line up with the leaf springs, it means I'm not gonna have to grind these off this housing and get new ones and weld new ones on. It's gonna save an hour, easy. Mine is on.
Okay, mine is off by 1 inch.
You wanna put a little bit of wedge into it for stability.
Yeah.
Since it doesn't have a sway bar. Ready? We got the rear end in there. Unfortunately, the spring plates off of the S10 didn't have the shock pins in the right place, but I'm gonna cut these off of the Samurai plates and weld them on in the right place over there. Okay, that was nothing compared to the hacking that Steve's about to do. You're not really gonna do that with that gas tank right there, are you?
I couldn't find the guys to get rid of it.
Oh, well then go ahead.
So our front axle is pretty much disabled, but the pumpkin head of the axle carrier itself is interfering with our pulley on suspension travel. In other words, the axle hits the engine, so I can just kind of prune back the offending part, and then it should give us plenty of clearance. And I don't think it'll substantially weaken the unit.
I think it's pretty good.
Okay, great. Here, let me quench that with some water.
Last thing I have to do for the rear end here is put these shock studs back on the spring plates, but unfortunately, I only have the old school non-self-dimming welding helmet. This looks like Gort the Machine. You ever see that movie? I'm not going to be great at welding with one hand while I'm holding this to my face because there's no strap. You know, Finnegan would take the time to make this weld perfect. He's not here. Can't see anything I'm doing. Okay, shocks are done. Ready to go for the world's shortest drive shaft. Look at that. Boom, there we go. That's going to be just about perfect. So the last thing we have to do to make the rear end work is we're gonna actually plumb rear brakes that we didn't have before. Steve is messing around with trying to make throttle linkage and a throttle valve cable for the torque flight.
With the 440 and 727 automatic transmission combination that we have in our Suzuki Samurai, the transmission has to know what's going on right here at the carburetor. And as the carburetor throttle increases, the transmission needs to get a mechanical signal of what's going on, and that's done through the kickdown linkage. I've got this aftermarket kickdown cable. It's not a direct bolt-in this case, so I'm making this little extension. As the throttle is pulled back, the lever will pull the cable forward. It's going to go through these two holes. That'll work the throttle linkage.
All right, we got the rear end in, the shocks in, the drive shaft in, and now we have the luxury of rear brakes, which we didn't have the first time we put the Samurai together because I had cut through some lines. But this time, I'm gonna make it happen. Can't believe you're still working on that throttle linkage. I'm moving on to headlights and wiring and stuff.
It's complex.
You're way behind schedule, bro. It had no headlight wiring, and the headlights, where the backs of them were broken off, so I got new bulbs here. I think it's time to go to the list. Super Sammy, round 2. Okay, we handled the rear axle, which also means shocks and drive shaft. Handled. Cooling, remember it overheated really bad last time? That's handled. Rewire, because it caught on fire, handled. We need new rear wheels because the S10 rear end has a different wheel bolt pattern than the Samurai. What else can you think of that we need to do, Dulcich?
I think that's everything. Hit the road.
Oh, fuel cell.
And then hit the road. What I'm working on here is not a toolbox, is our gas tank. You mount this box and it bolts in here. So the gas tank's in, it's plumbed all the way up to the ThermoQuad carburetor. I'm gonna pour some gas in there and then I'm ready to start at 440. Woo!
Drop it. Should I start it?
Is the ignition operational?
Ignition is on.
Okay.
Cranking.
Oh,
Up. It's on fire.
we have fire.
The carburetor is on fire, and it's a plastic carburetor. And he's taking his time putting it out.
Well, it's all right.
Is there any fuel in the fuel cell?
Yeah, we put 5 gallons in there.
Okay.
The accelerator pump linkage is totally out of adjustment.
Brand new ThermoQuad out of the box, rebuilt. ThermoQuad. The only carburetor that punishes you for going to wide open throttle. But we also have the ThermoQuad Whisperer here. He will handle it. But look, it runs.
It does run.
And it has oil pressure, and it's smoking quite a bit.
You know what? This 440 sounds pretty good. Now that I've got this thing tuned up, it should fire right up. That is the sound of victory.
All right, cool. Headlights work, taillights optional. Brake bleed handled, wheels handled, fuel cell handled. Oil line leak. Ignore. Road. Okay.
Yay.
Ready? You gonna drive?
Sure. So far, our progress has been 10 feet at a time.
Going great. The Super Sammy's not that good when it's cold. No.
Really loud in here.
Yeah. How are the brakes?
They're good.
Wow, not bad. Pretty good. Wow, that drive shaft is perfect.
I know, this thing shifts like gangbusters.
It does. It's an animal.
Why is that ThermoQuad running so bad?
You think it's contaminating?
What?
You think it's contaminating?
I don't know. Could be.
Oh, you kilt it.
Again.
It's self-kilt. Oh, man, that was pretty successful first drive in our little miniature hot rod. We figured our first stop had to be the Dwarf Car Museum.
With our own little dwarf car.
This is where Ernie Adams and his cronies have been building these little scale replicas of real cars, and they are actually street legal and fully functional and mind-blowing. It takes these guys like 2 to 5 years to build each car, and they're really impressive, so we figured we should show them what we can do in 5 days.
Come on, guys, I'll show you what we've got. I'm not particularly proud of it, but...
No.
They liked the 440, but other than that, I don't think they were really that into the Sammy.
Looks like it runs pretty good.
Yeah, it actually does.
So we hit the road in search of more adventure, but not before Dulcich tried to kill the guy.
Whoa! This is pretty cool. So it seemed like it was probably a good idea at this point to put actual tail lights on the vehicle. Look what I got. The magnetic tail light deal, like trailer tail light deal, is almost a Roadkill staple as much as a zip tie.
I was thinking we could just connect to the battery
Yeah.
and then hit the road. That harness is color-coded.
Oh, I have no idea. I never hook up trailer wiring. You know better than that.
Okay, Freiburger.
Strip?
Yeah.
Which
I
one?
want green and white.
Let's see.
Let's see if that works.
That's both.
Is that both?
Yep. Welcome to the road test review portion of the program. The Super Sammy now has more miles on it than we've ever put on it before, and I have to say, it's actually pretty good. The new rear end is fantastic. 342 gear ratio, cruises on the freeway, no problem. The drive shaft doesn't vibrate at all. The brakes are way better than they ever have been. It's running at like 170 degrees.
Overall, the Super Sammy is a win. Although, for some reason, it is really gutless. This thing does not seem like it's got 440 cubic inches of power.
Oil? Yeah. If you want to stop, we should do it now because we're about to get on the freeway. We got a massive oil leak squirting all over the windshield. Coming up out of the cowl right here. It's that oil line, the oil pressure gauge.
The nylon tube, it's either melted or chafed or something, but it's got a hole in it, so it's leaking pressurized oil. Just gonna fold over the tube, tie it off with a zip tie, and hopefully that'll plug the leak.
Steve's gonna make me drive, so Roadkill Windex. We're gonna actually get that off of there. Oh, that oil is a mess.
It's impossible to see out of that windshield.
Uh-huh. Oh, man, that was going pretty well. It must have blown a hose.
I know.
We're cruising along, and we're actually going like 70. It's running terrible. It's like misfiring and stuff, and then all of a sudden, overheats bad. Weird. The hoses are on. So what happened?
It just got hot. There's no blown hose. Wait a minute, something's not right here.
Something's not right.
Yeah.
What, is that just water?
Yeah. You can feel it bubbling in there.
Yeah. Literally, I was looking at the gauge when all of a sudden it just went loop and overheated. I fully expected a hose to be gone.
Yeah, me too. You don't think we blew the head gasket, do you? Oh.
What?
There's no fan belt on to turn into a water pump. We
Fan
lost the
belt's
belt.
gone. That's it. That explains why it just all of a sudden went.
Yeah.
Boy, what a stupid thing to overlook.
I know, we're just staring at that, and
Yep.
all of a sudden I'm like, huh.
Yeah, we lost the fan belt, which then overheated it and it went out the bypass.
Yeah.
We found a piece of rope in the back. We're contemplating if we can turn this rope into a fan belt, at least enough to get off the freeway.
Oh, it fell off already.
No way!
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can use that as a guide, because if we don't get to a parts store fast, they're all gonna be closed.
Okay.
We're gonna cheat, we're getting a ride. Let's hop in video van and go get a new fan belt this size. I hope you got the right one.
Me too.
We were able to use the rope to go to an auto parts store like 20 miles down the road and find the right belt. Dulcich installed it. We put some new juice in the radiator, and I think we're now ready to get out of here.
We're closing the hood for the last time.
Yeah.
With the new fan belt in place, we were finally gonna make some miles, and then Roadkill actually got busted for no license plate.
Do not let the palm tree fool you. This is Arctic conditions.
It is.
It's gonna freeze today, and it's raining. Last night it actually went pretty good overall, aside from being cold and getting pulled over by the police, but hey, it's Arizona, so we got away with it. License plates apparently optional, as well as exhaust and lights.
I thought you were gonna get cuffed and stuffed, man, and I'd have to bail you out.
Nah, I was good.
Yeah.
Our biggest problem this morning to me is that on the highway, my opinion is this thing's way too lean because it's just missing.
It is.
It does that surge thing where it goes,
The ThermoQuad has jets, but it also has metering rods, so I'm gonna try to adjust. It's kind of like a rod that blocks the jet to various degrees depending on its position. So I'm gonna raise them up, that'll give it more fuel, and the thing should run absolutely flawlessly.
Where are we anyway? I guess this is Tucson, Arizona. And you may ask yourself, where are these guys going? And the answer is south and east till it stops being cold and stops raining. So we're gonna nearly brush the Mexican border.
I'd go for Mexico, but I don't think we'd ever get back.
That might be a good thing. Okay, fix it.
There's a screwdriver on the cowl.
The working theory is that it's either it's way too lean, or all the exhaust coming out of the open manifold is contaminating the whole engine bay, and it's breathing its own fumes, which essentially also makes the thing way too lean.
You know what, Freiburger?
What?
This thing is fixed.
Really?
I've perfected this ThermoQuad.
Oh, did you hook up the light?
What?
Nothing!
Well, you can't say that Dulcich is not the master of the ThermoQuad. His quick tune-up seems to have fixed our lean surging issue and the thing is running better than ever, but it's still kind of gutless, which I'm kind of okay with because I don't think that S10 rear end is going to put up with big block power anyway. Really, the bigger problem is open exhaust manifolds. With no mufflers whatsoever, this thing is so loud we cannot hear ourselves think. And somehow, that lack of communication gave Dulcich the idea that we should go to Roswell, New Mexico, where maybe the aliens will teach him telepathy.
Hey, Freiburger, I'm gonna roll and drive this thing the rest of the way. We're going to Roswell.
Oh, really? They have flying saucers and stuff there.
Yeah, man.
So we finally have a destination instead of just east.
This is gonna be great.
Yeah!
Yeah! Aliens!
They're here. All of a sudden, I'm totally comfortable. He has no idea what I'm saying right now.
I think there's a crazy moon base at Roswell.
Arizona. Actually got a bunch of cool stuff. To the Chevy dealer. See how it says Chevrolet on top of the building?
How's it going, guys?
Great, how about you?
Hi.
You guys have a license plate on this?
Nope. We just bought this at a junkyard in Maricopa day before yesterday.
Okay. You can't operate this on the roadway.
Okay.
So, you can't drive it on the roadway without a license plate.
Even though we just bought the thing?
You cannot operate it on the roadway without a license plate.
Okay, what do we do?
You have to go to DMV and get a temporary registration. You have to have insurance.
We have insurance.
Okay, as long as you have the registration and the insurance on the vehicle, then you can drive it over. And you guys have no mufflers on this either.
That's correct.
How about if we just get out of town?
You get caught on the roadway, you're going to end up getting a citation for it.
Okay.
So I'm telling you now, you're not allowed to drive it without registration. Period.
Would you be all right with us just leaving your jurisdiction here?
Like I told you, you're not allowed to operate on the roadway without a registration.
That means no.
Have a good day.
Okay, thanks.
Here's one of the most popular questions that I get from Roadkill fans is, how do you guys get away with driving junk with no license plates all over the country? Well, for the first time, we didn't. We've been pulled over twice so far on this trip. The first time, officer was cool about it. Second time, not so much. I don't blame him, he was just doing his job. Let me just reiterate, we are always driving insured. We almost never drive with license plates. And so when we got busted in Willcox, Arizona last night, we ended up having to rent a truck and trailer in order to tow the Sammy here to White Sands, New Mexico, which is, I figure, across state lines. And so that makes us legal at this point, or at least that's the theory that we're about to test. If Dulcich can make his ThermoQuad actually work on this garbage. It's not firing up, huh?
Oh!
What?
There's a bunch of smoke flue in here. When you spray the brake clean, put some in the secondaries, so the secondaries close and it'll slowly feed it more fuel. It's like a reservoir.
Slowly metering. So what he's saying is there's a secondary air valve that's above the butterflies on the ThermoQuad. So he wants me to open the air valve and fill that chamber above the butterflies with the brake clean so it'll stay running. Okay, I'm down. Runs good. We're all all set.
Now we're talking. Can you navigate me?
That way. Punch it. Third gear. Fifth gear. All is well with the world again. I couldn't hear a word you say. Right. I blame the ThermoQuad.
This is just high traction white sand.
It is. 275 square miles of gypsum sand. But it turns out it's got better traction than I thought.
Oh yeah, super high traction. It's like sandpaper.
Even so, you know what?
What?
You're gonna go sledding.
Sledding?
Yeah.
With what? I thought those were flying saucers.
Oh, flying saucers come later in Roswell. That is a sled. I expect you to sled better than you do donuts in the Super Sammy because that was super weak. Okay, go. Ready?
First one down. The wind! Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa! Go!
Oh, here I go. Oh! That was awesome. Man, it's getting cold.
No, the wind's really kicked up. We got to get out of here.
We got to outrun that weather.
Luckily, we have a 440 though.
Roswell tonight. Ah! Sandstorm! Yep, it's officially snowing on the Super Sammy. Mountain Park, New Mexico. Wow, cool. Left.
What happened? I thought this was the desert.
Oh, it's colder out here. I was cuddling up to the 440. It was kind of warm. We're here in the mountains, like between Alamogordo going to Roswell, and it's snowing.
And we have no windshield wipers.
We're driving like 3 or 4 miles at a time before the windshield gets too bad. We have to stop and dry it off because we have no wipers. The good news is I get $1 for this every time. I saw the sign.
Where are all the aliens?
I haven't seen any. Oh, they're everywhere. Really? Yeah. Made it.
Yeah. So windy out here in Roswell.
I like the jumper cables.
Gotta get those aliens back on their way.
Hey, dude.
What?
We made it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Roswell. Well, what kind of aliens are these anyway? You got all kinds of different species. You've got the grays, you've got the reptilians, you got the androidians.
Oh no, here in Roswell, it's all the green guys like this.
I thought the grays were the most common. Ready? Give me hell!
You said you could fix it.
I can try.
Look, the wind is blowing the Sammy right now.
I know, it's like a sail-powered machine.
The Super Sammy is not so super. This whole episode we've been complaining that it's gutless, but we haven't wanted to fix it because we don't want to break the rear end. Now, I want to break the rear end. So Dulcich is going to get out here in the wind and see if he can adjust the throttle linkage because it's nowhere near wide open throttle.
Oh, look. It looks like our stop on the throttle cable, which is right at the firewalls, come loose, and instead of opening the carburetor, we're just pulling the whole cable into the car.
You mean this whole time the Super Sammy has been super slow all because of 2 hose clamps?
Yes.
That's roadkill.
There we go.
We're gonna make this happen. Dulcich has got the throttle repaired. We put some more timing in this thing. We are burnout ready.
This is going to be the greatest burnout of all time.
How can it not be?
Whoa!
You feel the response?
Yeah.
The brakes are way too strong in the back. They won't let it like do a brake stand. We might have to like clamp off the rear brakes or something. I mean, don't you think that's a huge part of the problem?
Well, I mean, if we have a line lock, we'll be able to do a burnout.
Right, okay, there we go. Who knew it would be this difficult to get a burnout out of a 440 Samurai? And the throttle is stuck again, wide open.
Yeah.
Now it should do a burnout, right?
Let's do it. We're all fixed.
Win! Yeah!
So finally, the Super Samurai is justified with a 550-mile road trip. Now, when Dulcich and I built this thing in the very first episode, we declared victory. I mean, we put a big block and got it running and driving in a Samurai, in a junkyard, in 5 days with lots of scorpions and rattlesnakes, and that was a win. Yeah. But we never feel completely fulfilled until we can take our contraptions on a great road trip, and that's what we did in this episode. But I gotta be honest, the Super Samurai still has problems. It is way too loud, especially considering the fact that it is way too slow. So do you want to see another episode on the Super Samurai? Well, that just might happen on a future episode of Roadkill, where we make it bigger, better, faster, but not louder.
Look, I'm supposed to be doing my scene here, and there's a gas tank. Can you get the guys to come over and clear the gas tank? I'm not going to stand around here all day. I need to get my scene done, and that tank of gasoline has got to be removed from the vehicle. Now, where did the guys go?